Hi everyone, how are you? Obviously it's me. So I'm I'm recording this because we're gonna have a guest speaker for about 8 minutes before the group presents. And I wanted to give a little background. Not so much on this person, I'm gonna let them talk about what they're gonna talk about, but what their general theme is gonna be about being a winner. Now, if you know from the book, and you kind of see how I am, the world is divided between winners and losers. You're amazing or you suck. You win or you lost. There is no in between, as far as I'm concerned. But the mistake people make is they think that being a winner means you win all the time. That's not it. Anyone who says they win all the time in terms of getting the outcome that they look for, that means they didn't try very hard. They don't aim very high. They suck. So, let me give you some examples. First, I'm going to talk about, I forgot the person's name, but the person in our class who just closed on her house. The winning move is not that she closed on her house. Anything can happen when you're buying a house. The seller can decide, no, I'm not going to, sell anymore. You could lose your job. Things not within your control. So buying the house is not what I call the winning move. The real winning move is not giving up in the hell of the closing process and saving your money, going through all the documentation and not giving up, because it can be quite stressful. And many people don't, they get to the point they're like, this is just too much, and they stop, even though it's something they really wanted. So I'm a fan of giving up on something if you don't truly want it. But giving up on something you truly wanted because you're facing obstacles, well, that's a loser move. So again, I forgot the individual's name, but the person in our class who did not give up when she faced whatever obstacles she may have faced in the process of buying the house, that is the winning move. So periodically in our class, I'll ask you, what have you guys been up to? Because if you weren't here pushing your brand forward, what are we doing? I remember we talked about the people that who may be over 30, they may be over 35, they may be over 40, who they're too old, it's too late, they have a million excuses for why they didn't do blah, blah, blah. But the reality is they gave up. Kids are not a deterrent to doing things you really want to do. I was blessed. Certainly when I was a kid, my parents, they saw us my siblings and I, as we fit in with their life, not the other way around. So, whatever they were going to do, we went along with it. So, yeah. So, let me give you another example. So, there's an individual, he's going to be coming to our class. But anyway, long story short, and this is what I mean, where you are here to live your life. You aren't here to live your parents' life, your grandparents' life, your sister's life, your brother's life, your kid's life. You are not here to live up to other people's expectations. You are here to live up to yours. So we'll call him Bill. All right. This is my former student. Okay. He's killing it now. So when Bill was a junior in my class, right? His choir class, and his whole family were pharmacists, and he was working as a farm tech himself, fully expected, you're going to be a pharmacist. But Bill came to me and, talked after class. And he was like, I don't know if that's what I really want to do. And just as he was talking and some of the things he said, I said, look, you're not going to be a pharmacist. Not because he couldn't be a pharmacist, but because he didn't really want to. Because he was living someone else's life. His parents' life. His sister and brother's life. But not his. So he had to figure out what else was he going to do. So, he's like, okay, I do like being in business, but what aspect of business interests me, right? So, he took the time to visit the Career Center, and long story short, he ended up interning at in an insurance firm, or, getting involved with insurance. And he realized this is what he liked. This was actually something that was interesting to him. Not just the sales side of insurance, that's the side people see generally on TV, but he was actually interested in eventually one day becoming a broker, which is basically, just to put it in simple terms, the person who decides how much should people be charged. All right? Long story short. So when he graduated, right? Now wait, his parents did not understand this at all because, they're pharmacists. His sister's a pharmacist, his brother's a pharmacist. He's supposed to be a pharmacist, but he's not. Anyway, but I told him, I'm like, you know what? You're just going to have to deal with the not understanding from your parents and maybe even disappointment because you are not here to live their life. So anyway, so he graduates, right? And he's got an offer from an insurance firm. Now, he's from Houston, never lived any other place other than Houston. And he's like, all right. And so the offer, though, it's great offer. It's like, but you got to move to Nevada. Love that, Las Vegas, right? So, of course, his parents, family doesn't want him to go. Like, oh, how's it going to work out, blah, blah, blah. So he comes to me, and he tells me about it. And, of course, I'm like, dude, you're going. And if you don't go, then don't speak to me anymore. Don't visit me anymore. Don't talk to me anymore. Because it is okay to be afraid. It is normal to be afraid. But those are feelings. When we're doing something new, something we haven't done before, it is normal to be afraid. It is okay to be afraid. It is not okay to let fear hold you back. I'll say it again. See, I would never tell you or me not to be afraid. I'm afraid all the time. But I don't allow fear to hold me back. I'm willing to move forward in spite of being afraid. And in fact, I'm more afraid of not going forward than I am of staying back. So anyway, so I'm like, you going. So he goes there, and it's difficult. Not just the work, but he didn't know anyone. He had to go out by himself. He had to figure out, how can I make a life for myself by myself without, my friends, my peers, people I knew. But it was good for him. He ended up, doing really well, developing the whole office and growing the business and so on. But he wouldn't have done that if he had been willing to take a chance on himself, even though other people, his family, didn't want him to, and even though he was afraid. So then, after there about 2 years, the organization was like, hey, we got this struggling office in Florida, and would you be willing to move and open it? And he told me about it, and of course by then, he knew what to do. He moved to Florida. So the larger point here, understand my message. The larger point is not that we're always going to control the outcome, because you're not. That's not what makes a winner. A true winner is someone who doesn't give up, even though you're afraid, even though other people told you not to, even though you don't feel like it. But the only way you're not going to be those people over 35, over 40 who feel like they're too old, it's too late, woulda, shoulda, coulda, blah, 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 is you got to start now. You have to invest in you now. True winners, which we are. When a door closes, we break it down. We find another door. We make a door. We go out of the freaking window. But we do not give up. All right. So periodically again, I'll ask you what you've been up to. And I'm talking about your winning moves. Doing things you don't want to do. Maybe other people told you not to, that you're scared to do. But you do them anyway. Because it will advance what you think is really important. Okay. I'll see you in class. Bye.